Hello everyone, Amanda here. Thanks for joining me. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. So today I'm here to share a really quick and easy journal card holder insert for your junk journals, and I'm going to try and do it in as fast a time as I can. So we're starting off with a 12 by 12. Have a look in your collection and see what you've got. Okay, now I've picked one. I'm going to use the outside here, which is just a very basic colour. It would coordinate with just about anything. Alright, I'm not interested in what's on the inside. It doesn't matter. I'm just using it up. So in the first instance, I'm going to cut this on the, obviously it's 12 by 12, so I'm going to cut it on one side to 11 1/4. Okay. Right, move that out of the way. Bring in my scoring board. If you don't have a scoring board, you can just use a ruler and, you know, some kind of blunt object. It's absolutely fine. You don't have to have everything. So what you want to do is on this shorter side where you've just cut that bit off, yeah, you're going to go at 3 3/4 of an inch. I do inches. Okay. So 3 3/4 and 7 1/2. Then turn it onto the long side, which is the 12-inch side, okay, and score it at 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way. If your paper's directional, just bear it in mind. You want the bottom half to, no, the top half when it's folded to be longer than the bottom half. My suggestion is use non-directional paper. It just makes your life that bit easier. So then we're scoring at 3 inches and 8 3/4. You can use plain cardstock, you can use paper, you can join two bits together, you can use a collage sheet, you can use anything. If you don't have 12 by 12, make one. Glue some book pages together until you've got a 12 by 12. Right, so now we want to fold all of those score lines. Fold them all. Okay. And you'll very quickly see that one side is slightly longer than the other. So the side that's the longest is your top. Okay, so that's going to flap over the top. Okay, just to help cover. So then what you want to do is the top section and the bottom section is in 3 sections divided by score lines. On each of these you want to cut down to this score line here, cut down to the score line here, and at the bottom up and up to free those flaps. That's your first job. Right, so let me get some bigger scissors. Let me get some big scissors on the job. Now, what I will say is take your time and cut it nicely. I'm going to be doing it really quick because I'm trying to show you how you can make things in next to no time. These kind of projects are great to make in advance. Okay, make them generic, non-specific, decorate them later, but they're great to make up in advance if you've lost your mojo, if you don't know what to make, if you're in between projects, you know, if you know you're going to be making a few journals and you want to bulk make some ephemera. So these are great. So what I'm doing here is I'm just, where I've cut there, I'm just going back in and I'm just taking a tiny slither off each side. Okay, now the reason we're doing that is so that when the flaps close, they're not impeding on each other, so they just shut nicer in layman's terms. So it's just a slither, and you only need to do it on the inside ones. Let me just get that a bit more straight. If this is not perfect, if it's not 100% straight, nobody's going to know, it won't matter, because you will be inking yours. I'm not going to ink mine because I'm going to try and be quick, but you will then go and ink those edges. And distress ink, or whatever you use to ink your edges, you can use normal ink, hides a multitude of sins. Okay, so let me just show you again what I'm doing. So on each side of here, on all of the flaps, I'm just cutting a, what we call in Yorkshire, a gnat's whisker. A gnat's whisker off, just so that those flaps, I'll show you, when they're closed, don't impinge on each other, yeah? So you've got a small gap. Alright, that's the reason why we're doing that. Okay, so then you ink it all, and you also are going to round all of those corners. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 at once just to make life a bit faster. Alright, so I'm going to try and round my corners. I'm not going to push my luck with 3 at once. I'm not going to push my luck. I mean, Stampin' Up, this is a Stampin' Up punch, and they are great, but you know, things have the limits, so I'm not gonna... I'm rounding all the corners, it just makes it look nicer. Okay, so line them up, because they're not going to want to line up perfect, because you've just cut a slither off. So line them up the best you can, and cut those edges. Okay. I've got another one that I'm going to film for you as well, out of a sheet of 12 by 12. It's a great way to use up scrapbooking paper that you've had laying about. If you haven't got scrapbooking paper, like I say, glue book pages together until you've got a 12 by 12 square. Right, so we're going to pretend that I've inked all those edges. Alright, so now that will fold up like so, and they will fold down. Okay. Now this is the easy bit, and this is where this design is so simple. It's bordering on ridiculous. Alright, so I've got my journaling cards here. This will fit journaling cards that measure... What do they measure these? These are like quite large. I think 3.5 by... So that space there is 3.5. Well, it's actually 3 3/4. So you'll fit journaling cards easily that are 3.5 by 5.5. Okay, so it's a big space. So all you need to do is put one each in there. If you want, you can add pockets in there, strips to hold them. It's not necessary. We're keeping it easy and simple. Okay, it's a little bit of interest. It doesn't need to be rocket science. And again, you can put little circles on there for closures. Put a circle there, and then that will slot in. You could put you know, fasteners, brads, whatever. I'm not bothering because it's not, I know it's not necessary. Then you fold the back one into the middle, okay, and the middle one over like so. You just need to make sure that your cards don't slip, okay, and it will fold nicely. Alright, so that all folds like so, and that will slip in a pocket, but we're not going to leave it like that, we're going to decorate it. So let me grab some, what shall we have? Shall we have some cheesecloth? So I'll grab a piece of cheesecloth and I'll show you how to really quickly decorate the front. You don't want to leave you hanging where you don't know what to do with it. So if you just cut a slit like that and then pull. If you don't know where to find cheesecloth, you can get it on Amazon. I had this sent to me, so I'm quite lucky. But you can find it on Amazon because that's where it's come from. That's where mine's come from. Okay, so type in muslin or cheesecloth and you can get quite a big piece. Alright, so I'm going to wrap that around for now. Okay. And we'll tie it in a bow. Why not? We'll tie it in a bow. Okay. I might trim some off. If I have any excess, I'll use the excess, if you know, for the top of tags. It won't get wasted. Alright, so you arrange that all pretty. We're being quick for the video. That's inked, right? Imagine it's inked. So now we're just going to decorate it, and we're going to use our scraps. So let's have a look what we've got here. And you just layer up with scraps. Okay. Alright, let's just move that out of the way. Going to use my ruler, just give it a rip, scrunch it up. This is just packing paper from something. Shouldn't say summit, that's very Yorkshire, isn't it? And it's nothing wrong with Yorkshire, God's own country. It's a beautiful place. I am very lucky where I live. Right, so I'm just going over it with some scrunching it up, going over it. Alright, so now I'm going to, don't forget before you put everything in, because that is nicely opened and none of those flaps are glued, you can go and you can sew all the way around those edges and make it pretty, if you so desire. But if you're new to journaling, this is a fabulous, fabulous quick little project. Okay, let me put that seam bind, that wants to go back on, because we're going to glue this in, we're going to glue it on so it's permanent. Okay, yeah, so we're going to just flatten that down, spread it out. Okay, and we're going to glue that paper on there, get off, don't want you. Glue that on there, just get it a bit straight. It doesn't need to be perfect, you want it to be kind of tatty looking and shabby looking, okay? Don't need perfect. Get it glued. Let's see if we can get it done in 10 minutes. This needs trimming, it's too long. But you know, you get the gist, you could add beads to that. It's sticking to me now. You could use sari silk, so it's a bit more luxurious. Cheesecloth's very basic, but it's very shabby. Right, then you get your picture. In fact, I'm going to have a layer of this as well. A little layer of vintage wallpaper. Yep. You don't need to overthink and sit there for hours agonising what to do with your projects. There's a bit of modelling paste on there from some other project. Just go for it. Yeah? Just go for it. More glue. More glue. I will say that if I'm not mad keen on glue stick, but which way up is it now? Is that the way up, right way up? I don't want to do it all the wrong way and then, no, that's the right way up. So I've got some layer on there. Alright, vintage wallpaper, and then I've got my image. Now obviously my image is too big, so I'm just going to get my trimmer. If you don't have one of these, just cut it with your scissors and then rough the edges up. Okay, I'm going to cut this. All the way around. Alright, no particular measurement. No particular anything, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to ink this. Okay, I'm just going to fold it over and then ink the crease so it looks like it's an old picture. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue that on there at a slight angle. It just adds interest, so I very rarely stick anything on straight. Then if your layers aren't cut perfect, doesn't matter because nothing's straight anyway. Okay, stick that on there like so. Now this is where you just want to bring in some bits of ephemera you might have, some little tickets or something. Right, so let me have a look in my oddments. In my little box of treasures, I've always got stuff hanging about. Let's see what we've got. I know what I want. I want one of those little brown labels. This might snooker me 10-minute slot now, looking for a little brown label. I don't know. What's that? We'll just have that. We'll have that, and it's a specimen one instead of a. It don't matter. Don't matter. Bit of. So this is where your little fussy cuts, or your little words, or your little stamps come in. Okay, let me just slip that under there before it dries. Yep. And it's about layering up. Okay. We'll have that there, that's fine. Okay, and then I've got these words from the same kit that this is from. One says Paris and one says a Moulin Rouge. So we're going to have Moulin Rouge, one of my all-time favourite songs because I absolutely adore Christina Aguilera. Love her. Love her. My daughter, little story coming for you. I often do little stories. One of my daughters took me just before the year before we had lockdown. We went to see her in concert, and she was amazing. I'm not kidding. She was fantastic. She has got some pipes on her. Brilliant she was. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Right, anyway, stop waffling, Amanda, about Christina Aguilera. Moulin Rouge. Stick that across like so. Okay, and we'll have the little Paris. The little Paris. So when you see these little, you know, digital sellers selling little snippets and you think, you know, oh, well, what's the point in them? It's things like this that just can add a little touch of something to a project. It really can. So we're going to have that there, just coming off, so it's like a layer. Alright, and then we're going to finish it off, and this is where we've kept everything really basic, and now we're going to add a little bit of va-va-voom with some applique. Now, I don't really want to put all of that on. I'm just going to trim it, because I don't want to use it all. It's only a little journal card holder, so I'm going to trim some off. Alright, and shall we have it at the top? Shall we have it at the bottom? Shall we have it there? We're going to have it there. Okay. If you don't have a applique, find a nice piece of lace or cut off a little bit of doily. Get a little bit of the cheesecloth or some other kind of material and make a ruffle. You know, or a little rolled rose. Could do with, I want a little piece there. I'm gonna just trim that. You don't have to have exactly what I've got, and you don't have to do it. This is kind of a shabby vintage. You don't even have to do it in a shabby vintage. It could be butterflies, it could be anything. It could be Sherlock Holmes. It's the same principle. You're just adding bits and bobs. And there you've got yourself a lovely little journal insert with 3 beautiful journaling cards inside. Alright, so, and now this is permanent, it will undo. Okay, and it stays there. So then you open it, you can decorate these further, you can add little pockets there, you can add little tucks here, you can decorate there, but you've got the very basics of the idea there. Alright? Perfect, lovely little quick project that you can make in bulk, in batch, in no time. Go and give it a try. Thanks for watching. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.